Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a shorter video than usual for you. I'll keep it very short and simple, and maybe the start of a new series I'm thinking about introducing here in this channel about the most common mistakes Portuguese native speakers make when speaking English. And what better way to kick it all off than by looking at one of the very true false friends there is in English Portuguese, and that is eventualmente. Okay, so this being a false friend means that eventually never translates as eventualmente, and eventualmente never translates as eventually. So this is point number one, and please get rid of that translation once and for all. Delete that information from your head and never translate eventually as eventualmente or the other way around again, please. Unfortunately, this still is a mistake that we can find in almost every single Portuguese household. We see it and we read it almost every single day as soon as we turn our TVs on. Now, it is true that in Portugal we have this very fine tradition of not dubbing anything, except for cartoons maybe, but we subtitle everything, movies or TV shows, and that is a very good thing because it gives us exposure to English from a very early age. No arguing with that. But unfortunately, this also makes room for the occasional bad translation. And as soon as we read something on our screens, we believe it to be true. It has to be true, right? Because someone translated it. So it must be right. And we start using and translating eventually as eventualmente. And then there's no way you're putting that genie back in the bottle. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty and keep it very short and simple. Eventualmente in Portuguese almost always, generically speaking, means probably. So something might happen or it might not happen. It can go either way. Now a good example to illustrate this is when you ask someone if they're hungry and you say, "Tens fome? Queres comer alguma coisa? Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something?" That person may reply, "No, but I'll probably eat something later," which in Portuguese may sound something like "Não, mas depois eventualmente como qualquer coisa." Right? Now this eventualmente does not mean that that person will most definitely eat something later on. We don't know. That person might eat something or it might not eat something later on. It might go either way, so we don't know. Whereas in English, if we reply to that same question with the word eventually, then it will definitely mean that you will eat something at a later point. So for instance, you could reply by saying something, "Oh no, I'm not hungry yet, but I'll have to eat eventually." Voila! You will have to eat something eventually, meaning that you will definitely eat something at a later point. You don't know exactly when, but you will. To bring this home, let me give you this sentence. The sun will probably engulf our planet eventually. Now this is a beautiful thing because not only is it scientifically sound, but it also has these very two elements that we've been analyzing so far, the probability and the eventuality. So probably and eventually, meaning two very different things. So it is likely that the sun will grow so big that it will eat up our world as well, but that will only happen at the very end of our star's existence. So that's why we have the eventually there. So when you're in doubt, just look up to the sky and think about this example. Alright, so just to wrap things up, if you do want to translate eventually into Portuguese, just remember that it always means that something will happen at an unspecified point in time, later on, so in the end. So you can, according to what you're dealing with, you can translate it in Portuguese using afinal, no final, finalmente, ao fim e ao cabo, no fim de contas, and the list goes on and on. So that's it for today. Don't forget to leave your comments, suggestions, or questions in the comment section down below. Leave a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.